Hello, and welcome to more videos with the presenters for the 2015 North American Systemic Constellation Conference coming up in November in San Diego. My guest today is Krista Jarrard. Her workshop is The Radical Act of Inclusion, Stepping Out of the Victim-Perpetrator Field of Forgiveness into the New Paradigm on Friday the 13th in the afternoon, I believe. Right, Krista?
That's right.
Okay, welcome, Krista.
I just realized it's Friday the 13th. That's fun.
Isn't that going to be neat? So, Krista, I appreciate your taking the time with us today. I know you're in the midst of some moving your home, but everyone wants to know our speakers. So tell me a little bit about how you got into constellations.
Well, thank you for having me, Linda. I've had the wonderful opportunity to have been exposed to constellation work for about 15 years now. And so I had the opportunity to kind of come in and work with Bert Hellinger in the early years of this century. And that sounds strange too, but the early years of this century, and work with Heinz Stark, and really be informed by my training with Gabrielle Borkin and Katie Atherton. And it was in their training and their work that the more kind of spacious, feminine way of working with a constellation and setting the constellation up blind and allowing the constellation to be the center of the focus, that really unfolded through that. So that's a little bit of my lineage background work.
Cool. And really fascinating question to all of us is, how do you describe constellations to a complete stranger?
This is a question, of course, I've given much attention to, as all of us do. How do we do this? I try to keep it simple. And it has changed over the years, but right now what I'm finding that works really well is I usually share that family constellations really has the ability to address our current day issues at their source, which we find is in the family system. And as part of the natural flow of life, there are disturbances and events and conditions that disrupt, that we connect to and show up in our current day as our issues with health, career, success, behaviors, relationships. So the family constellations has the opportunity to really address these in a very specific way, in a very profound way, in a very speedy way, by connecting to what has been and by including what has been excluded, and really reconnecting us to that natural flow of love that should be available to us from our family systems, so that we can become in touch with a strength and a wisdom that can support us as opposed to burden us. And what I will usually say is, what we find with these traumas and disturbances is, at the time, that might have been life-saving, that reaction, that response was life-saving, but now it can be life-threatening. So this work is about transforming that at a very deep level.
Excellent. Great. Well, that looks very interesting. Okay, so tell us about your talk. I'm very fascinated by this, the radical act of inclusion. I love it.
Well, this, I'm really excited about it too. Having done this work for a while, I've worked in different ways of seeing how the work wants to, move through me and morph, and creativity constellations and branding constellations and organizational constellations. But we're evolving, so we want to stay with the movement of this work and stay with the evolution of this work. So with that, I really started looking at what is the piece of this work that would allow a wider audience of people to resonate with, to connect with, and what is that? And also, what is it that allows the constellation process to go into and be used in so many different formats that we're actually going to have the opportunity to see at the conference, with a lot of people demonstrating how they're using it in their different careers. And what that is, of course, is inclusion. So the act of inclusion is foundational to constellation work. And I really tried to pull from that, just to sit with that, and just to sit with that part. And how is that different? And how do people not know about inclusion? And so what I discovered is many people, and most people that experience the work, when they leave and they have all the beautiful responses and outcomes that the work leads to, they will usually connect that to forgiveness. And the truth is, we don't really work with forgiveness in constellation work. So I started looking at that and looking at how, the culture is very focused on forgiveness, and sees that as their option to resolution. Then what I did was I looked up the definition for forgiveness, and was really surprised to see that forgiveness is the need to give up, the need or desire to punish. And that really, a light bulb went off. And as soon as I read that, I got chills, and I felt like this is just that energy keeps us in the same energetic field that created the act that needs to be forgiven in the first place. So that really showed me that there was something there, that traditional forgiveness practices were really based in the victim-perpetrator paradigm. And that's what kind of started this whole piece for me, that has really opened up a whole new field of work, and the book that's forthcoming from it. So in the workshop, what people will have the opportunity to experience is this in itself. A visceral experience. I've done this workshop several times, and what I've found is that when people have this experience of, first of all, this idea that maybe this is why my forgiveness practice hasn't worked, maybe this is why all the things that I've done all the time, all my best intentions, something has still been missing. This is the part that's been missing, is because it's keeping me in that victim place. So they'll have the opportunity to experience that. We'll be doing exercises with feeling both placements, feeling the inclusion placement, feeling the forgiveness placement, having that visceral experience of how we feel differently, what empowers us, what brings strength to us, and what pulls us back and keeps us in that small place. And people have found this to be as insightful or revolutionary as the piece that we are usually always experiencing with the constellation work, which is the ancestor piece, which is how my issue today is connected to my grandfather, my great-grandmother. How is that? Of course, it's always very, very profound. But this is pretty radical in itself. So I'm really excited about sharing this. And and just getting to put this idea out there as a way to, I think it's just going to make it more accessible to a lot of people, for them to realize that inclusion is an option. And right now, most people, it's forgiveness. We work with forgiveness. So it's really just to bring that out and to share with other facilitators that they can share with their clients, really quite how unique this is, how unique this is posed to bring us out of that paradigm and bring us into a more solution focused foundational place to start our resolution practice from.
That is fascinating. Oh, I'm so excited, Krista. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today. Is there anything else you'd like to add? We got another minute or so.
Sure. I'm really excited about the conference. I think it's a great opportunity to come together. And I'll just share, the first conference I went to, it's really profound. I hope people really take advantage of it. We're always talking about this longing for belonging that we hold, that we're in touch with. And so when we walk in and we see that there are others there that are like us, we can be with the wisdom of the facilitators that have been around for a while. I remember that was such a profound experience for me for the first conference that I participated in. And it was just like, I want what these people have. And of course, it's transformed my life, and I'm just ever so grateful for it. And I'm grateful for this opportunity and to present and the training that will come out of that. And so just thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate your time. It's been great to connect with you, and I look forward to meeting you in person. And you're a lucky lady that you'll be nearby the conference in San Diego.
Yes. November is a beautiful time here. Beautiful time, and it's a beautiful location. So
yes.
Come on down. Get out of the snow.
I'm afraid I might want to stay.
That's fine. We'll move into a bigger house. I can't accommodate the whole conference, but we'll see what we can do.
Well, it's funny that you bring that, the like-mindedness up about meeting others at the conference too. I've been participating in a mastermind with Jack Blackwell for several months, and it's so fun to connect with other people, as you said.
It's wonderful.
It's really nice.
We need our tribe.
Yes, and we need the support and new discoveries every day, and just knowing, like you say, we have the backup of other people and sharing our knowledge. So thank you for your time today. Good luck with your move. I can't wait to meet you in November in person.
I can't wait to meet you too.
Okay, so I just want to reiterate, Krista Jarrard's talk is Friday, November 13th, The Radical Act of Inclusion, Stepping Out of the Victim-Perpetrator Field of Forgiveness into the New Paradigm. Thanks again, Krista.
Thank you, Linda.
Bye-bye.
Bye.